What's different? Why could we walk on it last night? What happened between then and now?
Hello, my little Luxxes. This is Cosplayer Charsie Luxxx, and welcome back for another episode of Luxxy Charms, where we will be doing another horror movie review. This time, it's a review of the 2015 film, The Sand. Why are we doing a movie review on a 2015 film that hardly anybody talks about? Due to the fact, probably because it is a low-budget, B-rated horror movie, and it is pretty cheesy.
Say cheese.
And we'll get into detail about other things that could seem like a reason why it is an underappreciated film. Of course, as always, we'll get into my thoughts of the film as well. My theme for this month of April, which is tan lines to chalk lines, was chosen specifically because of this film. I wanted to do spring break horror theme type of ideas, and I really wanted to talk about this movie. And so tan lines to chalk lines was brought up by my husband, because we were trying to come up with a theme, and it's nice when I'll just throw out ideas and then he'll come up with something, and he's like, what about this? And it's like, yeah, that is perfect. So because of this film, we have tan lines to chalk lines. So we can definitely get into talking about that. And if you are brand new to Luxxy Charms, welcome. All freaks and geeks are welcome to this channel. Obviously, we don't appreciate jerks or assholes. You can show yourself out the door.
Mother has arrived!
Welcome to a movie review done by me. I am a closet cosplayer, and today I am the afterlife of the party. I am ready to party with these party goers on this beach, and come join me as I talk about this film. But this is also going to be a fair warning to everybody that this is a spoiler alert and viewer discretion advised. First things first, we will give the cast and the crew of the film. You have Brooke Butler as Kaylee, Cleo Berry as Gilbert, Cynthia Morrell as Ronnie, Dean Geyer as Jonah, Megan Holder as Shonda, Mitchell Musso as Mitch, Hector David Jr. as Vance, Nikki Leah as Marcia, and Jamiekennedy as Beach Patrol Alex. Director is Isaac Gabeef. Writers Alex Greenfield and Ben Powell. And as always, I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. And like I've been saying over and over, and well, I guess just for the last couple of movie reviews, I shouldn't say over and over and over again, because it hasn't been that long since I started doing this.
Or have you?
No.
But I will take the quick summary plot synopsis from IMDb first. After an all-night graduation beach party, a group of hungover 20-somethings awake to a beating sun and a seemingly carnivorous beach that devours everything with a heartbeat that touches the sand. Come here. You haven't said hi in forever. Come here. Callie wanted to say hi, since she kept disturbing me and everything. Now I can be full of cat fur. And the room can be full of cat fur. She needs to be brushed again. She's a little long-haired. Hi, baby. Let's see how well I can get into my review with Callie helping out. Right, Callie? You like this movie too. Oh, wow, I went to my thoughts way too quick for that one. But whatever, we know how I roll with this.
Oh,
So we are going into my favorite part of the review, which is, of course, deep diving and really talking about the storyline to this movie. This one is, I feel, underrated, underappreciated. Yes, there's a good reason for that, but we will get more into details about that. Oh yeah, the heater will be going because it got cold again. So I apologize if that's a little loud. Finally started figuring out my fan as well because I finally got a brand new computer. But I didn't realize that how loud that fan was the first few times I was recording. And it's got a handy little remote that I can actually turn down the sound of the fan. So hopefully it's not so loud. Anyway, back on subject here.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it!
So, as stated in the plot summary, that a group of young 20-somethings were all out celebrating for their spring break, although they kind of said their graduation as well, but it also states very clearly that it's spring break, and that even at one point, one of the girls even says they're supposed to be at Cabo for spring break, but they said a graduation celebration. I'm sorry, I don't know, maybe there's certain colleges that get out as early as April, or their spring break is as late as May. I don't know. Usually, generally, spring breaks happen around the Easter time. But whatever, we're getting off topic here. I have ADHD today, for sure, and I am all over the place. So I have my energy drink with some pineapple juice to be on theme, to be on brand. We're gonna keep going. So, apologize if my brain is everywhere today, because it is. It is literally everywhere today. So this group of young adults are all out celebrating. Well, a couple of the people who put together this beach party had made the idea that this was going to be Vegas rules, and that anybody who agreed to come out to this party had to give up their cell phones.
So, I need everybody to put your phones in the bag, okay? Okay, put your phones in the bag. Everyone put your phones in the bag.
Wait, bitch. I need my phone.
Oh, you saw the invite. You saw the invite. All right, you wanna spend the rest of your spring break taking naked selfies of your vagina? Great, but tonight, Vegas rules.
And that all these cell phones would be collected and they were locked in the trunk of Jonah's car. Jonah is important to note because he's one of the main characters. And there's a love triangle going on with this movie. You have Kaylee and Jonah, who were originally together. Unfortunately, they had broken up before this party, and he began hooking up with a girl named Shonda. And they were there together at the beach party. Well, Kaylee ended up going to this party as well and sees them together.
Konnichiwa, bitches!
Actually, I changed my mind.
So of course it's the typical, she's drinking too much, she gets drunk, well, she begins talking to one of her guy friends, Mitch, and they're just kind of hanging out for the night, walking on the beach during the party talking. Well, you get to see the fun party and everything going on. Everyone's having a great time. Well, everyone's phones get confiscated except for one. Only one phone is left and you are viewing from the viewpoint of that phone. And at one point, characters Gilbert and Vance find this weird looking, gooey, circular object on the beach.
How you doing on there, Gilbert? Oh, good, yes.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, found it up the beach.
It's gooey.
Yo, Holmes, that's not gonna burn. No, we need firewood! We need firewood!
And decide to bring it and show it to everybody. And this thing is gooey and disgusting looking, but it's just a weird object they found and they brought? Or is this foreshadowing for something of impending doom? So you are connecting into the following morning where the few people, the few partygoers that seem to still be sticking around after a long night of partying and drinking and having a great time, and they're slowly waking up. So you have Jonah and Shonda, who are in this convertible car with friends Ronnie and her boyfriend Vance. And you have a very beautiful, very half-naked Marcia that is sleeping on the picnic table. And you have poor Gilbert, who apparently fell under the rules of if you are first to fall asleep, you fall victim to all the party goers getting to, well, basically play pranks on you.
Got just a little outline of his ear, a little
Outline
cock
of the ear.
piercing.
Cock piercing. You know, those are hard to come by.
And they stuck Gilbert in a trash can and drew a dick on his face. So, poor Gilbert. But you also have Mitch and Kaylee, who were in the viewing tower or this viewing lifeguard tower, whatever you want to call it. So you have very few people that are still there left over from the party. As they're all waking up very slowly, Marcia starts getting sick on the picnic table and she begins throwing up into the sand and everything. Well, while all this is going on and everyone's kind of waking up and talking, you have Kaylee, who's noticed that a bird has landed on the beach. And she's watching this bird and something strange starts happening. She starts seeing these little tiny tentacle-looking things. She can't really tell what it is from the distance that she's looking, but it appears like the sand is eating this bird.
Are you stuck?
All of a sudden, when Marcia decides that while she's getting sick and everything, she's going to get off this picnic table, well, Kaylee immediately starts yelling at her and telling her, don't touch the sand, don't touch the sand, because she realizes something is wrong, something's not right. And of course, nobody's listening to her, so Marcia touches the sand and immediately starts screaming out for help. Well, while she is slowly sinking into this sand, one of the other party goers, Vance, jumps out of the car to go and help her. Well, of course, Kaylee keeps yelling at them, like, no, don't touch the sand, don't touch the sand. Something is clearly wrong here. And sure enough, as soon as Vance touches the sand, he begins to start sinking into the sand. Well, other people want to go and help him, but luckily, while things are going on, other people, just like Kaylee, begin realizing that something really wrong is happening.
Yo, something's wrong.
No, Vance, don't! No, Vance, don't! No.
Yo, we have to help her.
No, Vance, you can't! Oh my God. Get back in the... No, Fish, there's something wrong with the sand.
We have to
Do
help
something!
him. Vance!
You guys, why isn't he getting up?
Ronnie! Help! Help me!
So nobody leaves to go help Vance, and as they're watching, they're realizing he's not sinking into the sand. The sand is actually literally tearing him apart and eating him, and you are literally watching him fall apart right in front of your eyes. So right away, this film starts off very quick paced, very upbeat at first with that wonderful party, and then you have him waking up and it's that slow realization, that the hungover feeling, and just waking up to all of a sudden 2 people are dead and gone.
He's dead.
And everybody's freaking out, of course, rightly so. But everyone keeps trying to figure out what the hell happened. What happened from last night at the beach party to where they were at that moment? Why was the sand all of a sudden eating people? So you go through this whole mystery of them trying to figure out what is going on. And of course, you have the love triangle going on at the exact same time too. So it's one of those moments where a lot of times these people keep wanting to talk about their relationships and what's going on. And you're thinking, why the hell are you talking about that now? Well, they even bring that up and they're like, well, why not now? Because how many of our friends have died and didn't get the opportunity to get things off their chest. So those are those moments where you're just like, really? Really? We're gonna talk about this now?
No, it's for later. No, man. There is no later. Not today. Why don't you ask Vance how later's going for him? Or Duck Feet?
Marsha.
Whatever. Or all the other people that left the party early. Dude, you're being a dick. Am I? Well, I'm not alone. Shithead.
Okay, I see where their minds are at, but just one of those funny things to note about the love triangle that keeps going on, or I guess kind of a quad, because poor Mitch does like Kaylee. Obviously, Kaylee has no interest in him because she misses her ex-boyfriend Jonah.
That's never gonna happen. Ever, ever, ever.
But obviously, you continue where you start slowly finding out and getting more details about this thing, and you realize that they see this object in the distance. When Kaylee asks, "What is that?" Gilbert flat out says, "That's that thing that Vance and I found up on the beach."
What?
Charsie. You guys, what is that?
Me and Vance found it! Up the beach!
What is it?
That's not what it looked like before. And they realized that it had been an egg and that it had hatched. So then it dawned on them that something had hatched out of that object and was now underneath the sand. And that's what was eating everybody. Because at first, obviously, they were trying to figure out what was going on. And now, all of a sudden, it's a monster under the beach.
It's an egg? Like a monster?
So that realization right there starts with them trying to figure out how big is this thing. So then they go through that process of seeing how much of a distance do they have to go before they are not around this creature anymore. And then it comes to one of my favorite actors ends up in this film. And his character is kind of a douchebag, but he is the beach patrol, and it is Jamiekennedy's character. And he shows up. But he shows up at probably one of the worst times that he possibly could, because there is a scene where two of the girls are trying to get the cell phones from the trunk of the car, but of course they can't touch the sand to get to the car, and the only way that they can unlock the car is with the key. So they're all trying to maneuver and figure out a way to be able to open this trunk without touching the sand, and this cop shows up and decides to start honking his horn at all of these people that are randomly on the beach, because the beach is supposed to be closed. Well, in doing so, unfortunately, the girl who's trying to balance on the bumper of the car slips and falls, and the trunk of the car lands on her hands.
I did it! I did it! I can see them!
That's probably the one scene in this movie that makes me cringe the most. Oof. I can't imagine having your fingers smashed, but yeah.
Nope.
So you have the beach patrol, who is Jamiekennedy, who shows up and starts walking around, and everybody's trying to figure out, because first they obviously were yelling at him and telling him, don't touch the sand, don't get out of your vehicle. Of course, being a cop, he just ignored them and got out. Well, he's walking around, and everybody's trying to figure out how the hell is he walking around and touching the sand and nothing is happening. Well, they find out it's because of his shoes. Because of his shoes, this creature couldn't hurt him with its weird little hair follicles, tentacles, whatever you want to call it. So when they realize this, they keep trying to tell him, hey, please go get help. Please call for help. He's ignoring these college students, and he thinks they're all on drugs. So he just keeps trying to gather them all up and just basically arrest them. Well, in the process of all that going on, he drops his keys, and when he goes to pick them up, of course, Dum Dum touches the sand. And of course, what happens when he touches the sand? Well, bye-bye, Jamie. Bye-bye.
Help me! It's following me! It's following me!
Now, this is a newer movie. I'm not sure how much of the detail I wanted to go in with this. I don't really want to give away the ending. I mean, it is from 2015, and it's weird to think about that 2015 is almost 10 years old now. Almost. We're at 8 years now. That's weird. That is really weird to think about. But anyway, so obviously I had my spoilers and everything, but I didn't want to go too into detail about this one. That I kind of want to keep that mystery about some of the deaths and what else happens in this film, and of course for the ending. So I won't go into full detail about everything. I don't think a lot of people have watched this film. It's free to watch on Tubi right now, and it may actually be streaming in other places as well, because it's not a well-known film, but I have seen it on Tubi for quite some time. I think I first saw this one on Vudu, with their free section of videos that you can watch on Vudu as well. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to watch this film. I want to get into the fun facts now about this one. There's not a lot, but one of the facts about this film was this was shot in only 12 days, which is impressive. Very quick movie, and it makes sense because the setting is all in one place. It's set up on this beach, so it would be very easy to film this in 2 weeks.
That's fast.
The filming for this film actually took place in 2012, and the movie was released in 2015. And once again, I apologize if I butcher his name, but director Isaac Gaboff, however you pronounce it, he originally had a set and crew that they were going to be creating a movie that was 4 people that were going to be stranded between the islands of Hawaii, and they were all set up and ready to go. Well, the movie collapsed. Something happened that it wasn't going to happen anymore. Well, you had Isaac and his crew were all ready to put together a film, so in its stead, they went through a whole bunch of different scripts and came across The Sand. So with this screenplay is why they ended up creating this movie. So I can 100% understand that. To be ready to go, you have everything set and ready, you have a crew, and then everything falls through. So I can just imagine that feeling of devastation of your project is gone, but you still want to do something, you still want to work. So we got this film because of that. Nikki Leah, who plays the character of Marcia, was a Playboy playmate in 2012, and it was just before the filming of this movie. And her scenes, she's the one who is half nude in it, and she had absolutely no problems whatsoever being on set and being nude. And originally in the script, she was supposed to be fully nude. And it was later on decided that while filming that she would have at least her bottoms on. But herself, she kept saying she didn't have a problem being fully nude. But it is interesting to note how that scene ended up happening, and that you can tell she feels totally comfortable. And obviously in the horror realm, we absolutely love when we get our nudity shots, because that's what horror is. Boobs and blood. Well, and death, but you know.
Boobies!
Something else that's fun to note is that this film was voted one of the top 5 monster films on the Sci-Fi Channel, right alongside with Piranha 3D from 2010, which I just found that fact even more fun due to the fact that Piranha 3D had been one of the other films I wanted to have a part of this tan lines to chalk lines theme. Now, obviously, I don't have time to discuss that one, but there's other opportunities that I can do Piranha 3D again in the, well, not again, I can do Piranha 3D someday in the future, and this premiered in the 2015 Fright Fest. Seems to be a common theme that happens with some of these films, because when I did my review on Frozen, that one also premiered on a Fright Fest. There's another fact on here that I want to actually read this one, and it's on IMDb. And it's an interesting thing to note because it's behind spoilers. But it says, Nikki Leia's character wakes up on the picnic table. She puts her feet in the sand and is the first person to be caught. The man jumps out of the car, which is Vance's character, to rescue her and is caught himself. From that point on, Nikki's character is never mentioned again. That's not true. Not true at all. Nikki's character is brought up quite a few times in the film. One of the mean things is they gave her a nickname because they said her feet resembled duck's feet. So they nicknamed her Duck Feet.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
And they do call her Marcia a couple of the times too. But if you watch this movie or you have seen this film, they do mention her. They call her Marcia, they call her Duck Feet, they talk about her. But so I thought it was weird that it's a fact that's in here and it's behind the spoiler thing. And they're like, and her character's never mentioned again. And it's like, but she is. Several different times they bring her up. Maybe because I've watched the movie so many times, especially in preparation for when I do my reviews and that, and I'm like, well, what are they talking about? Maybe they didn't realize that that's who they were talking about. So I just wanted to let you all know that. So if you do hear that fact or read that fact, that no, they do in fact talk about her again.
Guys, I just see this shit! This fucking sand is eating this fucking bird! That's the shit that happened to Vance! Fucking Duck Feet! We're all gonna die, man! This shit is crazy! We're all gonna fucking die!
And one of the other things that I found interesting was that in the goofs section, they had mentioned that something had been incorrectly labeled as a goof. And what it was somebody was trying to say, like, with the remote keys, instead of them trying to unlock it with the key, they should have just pushed the trunk button from the remote and it would have popped open. Well, what you don't realize is that the car is dead. Well, I mean, you realize in the film while you're watching it that this car has died, and that the remote supposedly will not work when the car battery is dead. So that's why they had to actually physically use the key itself. Well, you know, plot line, it's going to be way more interesting if they're doing that scene where the girls are trying to balance so that they can open this trunk. Because, you know, you gotta have a lot of climax and a lot of intense tension scenes. I mean, that's what makes a horror thriller movie, so...
Duh.
Now we will move into my thoughts of the film, and it should be quite obvious that I enjoy this film. I like it a lot. Actually, it definitely is up there for being one of those cheesy B-rated horror movies that I find very pleasant, very wonderful. It's kind of a comfort film. So it probably is up there for me, flat out saying that this is a creature feature film that I love. I love it. Now, obviously, the CGI in this movie is bad. It is on line with being terrible CGI. And obviously, I love practicals. I love puppets. I love all the stuff that you're adding, the makeup, that detail where it just seems more realistic and you add the CGI in. And I talked about this in my Grabbers review where that one was all just CGI. Now, does the film lose its interest because of that for me. For me, no. Now, for other people, if you do not like CGI heavy horror films, you probably would have no interest in this film and would dislike this. In fact, probably despise it. But me, it doesn't bother me, and like I said, I've talked about it before. But do I prefer practicals used and puppets and the realism and pushing the makeup to that spectrum? Yes, I prefer that. And yes, those are the horror films that you can flat out say are the best of the best of the best.
You're all here because you're the best of the best.
But I don't dislike it because of that. In fact, it kind of gets its charm, where especially, perfect example, I watched this with my movie watch group crew and we had fun poking fun at the bad CGI. And it's just one of those fun films that if you can watch this with a group of friends that love horror as much as you, get together, watch this, have fun, poke fun at it. This movie even pokes fun at itself. And like I said, this was only filmed in 12 days, so a very quick horror film, but very fun. So, do I recommend this film? I recommend it. Now, don't go into it on a serious level. It is not a serious film. It is a fun horror film. And yes, the CGI is going to be bad. Do not put it up on that pedestal of being, like I said, the best of the best. But it's a fun film and I really enjoy it. Well, I think I talked about everything that I wanted to focus on with this. And like I said, I didn't want to give away the ending to this because I really want to know in the comments down below our discussion together of, have you seen this film? What do you think about it? Are you interested in watching it now? I would love to know your thoughts on it. As before, if you are brand new, welcome, and I hope that you will like and subscribe to this channel. Come join the Luxxx Charms family. And if you would like to follow me on my other social medias, come follow me on my Twitter for Charsie Luxxx with 3 X's, or on my Instagram for Charsie87. And once again, thank you so much for joining me here, and I am the afterlife of the party. So we are going to wrap things up and let this party die down for the rest of the evening. But no matter what time of the day it is, I hope you have a Luxxx Charms kind of day. Bye. And of course, Callie is going to be scratching on the door because she really, really wants to play today and keeps bringing me her shoestring. Gotta love kitty kitty. Hopefully I pronounced carnivorous right. We know how well I pronounce words. Words. What are words? So, we are going into, and that all these cell phones would be locked in the trunk of, no, I can't think of his name, Jonah. And had just recently broken up, and Jonah was hooking up with another girl, Chandra. Is it Chandra? Shanda. Shanda? Shanda. Why can't I remember Chandra? Chanda. I keep thinking Chandra, but it's Shanda. 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 So that was about the
Dude, listen, we think it's because of your shoes that the sand's not eating you. I think.
Really?
2 of our friends died already.
2 of your friends died. Where are their bodies?
The sand ate them.
The sand ate them. And you know what I did earlier today? I rode in here on my unicorn.